ad-lib the whole thing, but my mom suggested I choose not to do that. So, somewhere in the script. Right. Hello everybody, and thank you for coming here to celebrate this amazing occasion with me. Special thanks goes out to Father Rick, my pastor, Mr. Jackson, my Taekwondo instructor, Mr. Devitt, my boss, and the other role models who wrote reference letters for me so I could become an Eagle Scout. Also, Mr. Ballas, who was my Cub Scout den leader, much appreciation there. To those who donated to my Eagle project, including, but not limited to, Mr. and Mrs. Krabs, my parents, and an awesome shout out to my sisters, Trish, Teresa, and Rebecca, who also made this place look awesome for the ceremony. My family, especially my mom, for her constant support, and my dad, who helped with the logistics and, at my request, nagged me and prodded me to get to work on my Eagle Scout project. Also, I'd like to thank Troop 331 for helping me on my way to being an Eagle Scout. Yes, that's you guys. Especially Mr. Love for his support, Mr. Sikora, Mr. Austin Sikora, Mr. Sheldon, and Connor Blatt for editing and improving my ideas, and to the guys for being there on my project and overall good friends. Also, I would like to give a special shout out to somebody who helped me along the way, help with the project, do what I need to do. He already has plenty of these, but I would like to present the mentor pin to Mr. Sikora. So if you come up here. So to start off, I've been scouting for around 5-ish years now. In 2009, my good friend Nick invited me to his Cub Scout meeting at PAC 120 based out of Christ the King, my home parish. I was a little skeptical at first, but I didn't have anything Wednesday night, so I figured, why not? I quickly got hooked, with the oaths and mottos and cool uniforms, and became officially a Weeblo, or as my sister called it, a Wallaby. Thank you, Trish. About 6 months after that, my Weeblo 2 class got our Arrow of Light and moved up with the big kids, Troop 120. I had some great times camping, including catching my hair on fire, Twinkies being airdropped on our campsites, camping at Yellowstone National Park, and even firing flaming catapults. However, by the end of the year, I could tell it just wasn't the right fit for me. They had us on a scheduled program where we would eagle at 17, a few weeks before turning 18. I wanted to advance at my own pace, be it faster or slower. Luckily for me, my friends Joseph, Matthew, and Chris were all part of Troop 331, and when they heard of my predicament, they asked me to join. I didn't have anything Tuesday night, so I figured, why not? It was just what I wanted in the Boy Scout troop. Advancements at your own pace, opportunities to go to merit badge fairs, and a great group of guys to enjoy it all with. Having free reign, I moved up to Life Scout in 2 years, and I was going to be an Eagle before I was 14, which was my goal. However, God had his own plans. Thank you for laughing back there, I heard you. And he tweaked mine a bit. On our last meeting of, I believe it was 2013, we had Senior Patrol Leader elections. And for those who are not familiar with Boy Scouts, the Senior Patrol Leader, or SPL, is the youth leader of the troop for a 6-month term. I originally planned on not running, since I was only 13, and I wasn't sure if I could run the troop well, even if I was somehow elected. But Mr. Duff, our previous Scoutmaster, encouraged me to run despite these concerns. So I went, why not? And to my surprise, I was elected the SPL. It was pretty hard, not gonna lie. Mr. Love became the new Scoutmaster at the same time I was SPL. Some of my best friends left 331, and some of the older boys no longer came to meetings, or at least regularly, making me one of the only older boys, and I was only 13. I didn't have any Scout level mentors. No one really knew what being an SPL entailed, and kind of had to figure it out by myself. So, with all this suddenly on my proverbial scouting plate, all thoughts of being an Eagle were pushed to the side. On top of that, I was pushed to a 7-month term, so it went a little longer than I would have liked. But once I got into it, though, I'll admit, started running pretty smoothly, and I even got some ideas going to help me with the truth. Some ideas took off, some got denied, and almost all of them died after my term ended, but that's such is life. However, despite all these things, being SPL did give me the leadership experience I needed, and helping lead the other scouts helped when it came time to lead my project. And then after my term, things started going pretty well on the Eagle front. Mr. Sikora and I almost immediately started on my Eagle project, but once again, God had a different plan. I originally was going to do a standard project at the Pastoral Center, the Catholic HQ in Oklahoma. You know, plant some trees, build some benches, the like. But when I met with Mr. Maxwell, the grounds manager, about that, I asked him if there was anything else he would like done as long as I was there. Which Mr. Sikora specifically said not to ask. Yeah, he may have a slight role history. Anyway, Mr. Maxwell thought about it for a bit, and he remembered the survivor tree seedling they had in the courtyard. Direct descendant, you could say, from the survivor tree at the Murrah building bombing of April 19th, 1995. They had wanted to add a pathway and some benches to that area for quite some time, but just never got around to it. It sounded like the perfect job for a Boy Scout, so I said, meh, why not? Now, to make an already long story shorter, Archbishop Beltran wanted to build a plaque when they got the tree in 2005 for the 10th anniversary of the bombing. Mr. Maxwell found the draft for the plaque and gave it to me. It was then that I realized I'd get this project done in time for the 20th anniversary of the bombing. Now, a little tidbit here, I said some of that the night of one of the troop courts of honor, if you remember that. And during the Cracker Barrel, the man who was telling us about the wood badge, if you remember him, came up to me and introduced himself as a photographer for the Oklahoman and said he loved to feature my project. It's a small one. Eventually, the week of the project came around, and we went to Home Depot to get the papers delivered. When we told him where we wanted them delivered, he said, man, that's right across the street, and it's a church. We can't charge you delivery. Ritual fist bump. Right. The project went very smoothly, although it took forever, as some of the guys commented to me afterwards. And by the end of April, I had my Eagle board review passed, and that's really it as far as Eagle is concerned. This summer, I worked at Kerr Scout Ranch at Slippery Falls, but we still just call it Slip. And taught kayaking, became a certified lifeguard, and did the mile swim. After that, I went and hiked some mountains in Colorado, including a 10-hour death march of Mount Albert. And I never would have done these things without Boy Scouts. It is certainly one of the best things that has happened to me, and being an Eagle Scout is one of the best things I've ever done. I'm looking forward to future adventures in scouting, Phil not, because, meh, why not? Thank you again for listening to my humble speech, and to most of you, at least, for staying awake. Thank you.